So the time is 7:02. I'd like to open up this public hearing budget meeting at 7:02. Everybody please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Thank you all for coming tonight. We will be hearing tonight from the police department. But before we get started with our agenda, I just want to introduce everybody that's up here. Down to my left is Lucy. We have Jim, Bev Kennedy, Betty Ann Peck, Krista Hanowitz, and Carol Mordawanek. And we have two alternates today in the crowd, Scott Lazur, who's sitting over there, and Tracy Rappa, who's over there. Okay? So right now I'll move to item number 3, which is public comment. So we're going to do 2 public comments for all of our budget hearings. So the public will have a chance to speak for 2 minutes. When you do speak, please state your name and address for the record. And again, we will have a second public comment after the presentations. Okay, so does anybody like to speak for public comment? Public comment going twice? Public comment going 3 times? All right, hearing no public comment, I'm going to close the first public comment. Item number 4 on the agenda is the presentation. Today, like as I said, we have the police department presenting their budget today, so I'd like to turn it over now to Chief Buccarati.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. You'll see that we came in at 4.4% for an increase this year. This represents a responsible budget. We don't have any new asks or new wants. This is reflective of the cost of doing business as a modern-day police department. We are always looking for ways to save. You'll see that the drivers in this budget are mostly, if not all, contractual obligations and items and subscriptions that are needed to function as a police department. So what I will do is take you line by line down each one, explain how I got the numbers for each one, and if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt, ask questions, as we go along. So,
and we have this up on the board over there too for everybody that's up here.
Okay. So starting with line 101, the chief's salary, that denotes a 0.249% raise. It reads as 5% because there was a raise that was unaccounted for 2 years ago in there. So just to make it across the board equal to 2.49, which is typically what we would get, I kind of made it equal to everybody else. So that 5.09 just brings it on par to where it should be. Going next to the deputy chief's salary, we have 2 deputy chiefs. Taking into account a 2.49% raise, you'll see that the figure is $221,057 and 55 cents. School resource officers. Currently the middle school and the high school are staffed by 2 school resource officers. They are grade A patrolmen. Their salary is $87,466. So 2 of them is $174,932.16. If I'm going too fast, please slow me down. Secretaries and clerks, we have a chief's administrative assistant and a records clerk. Each one is, their respective salaries together are $114,307.45. It should be noted that in the next budget cycle, there are 262 working days. Last few have been 260 working days, so everybody is added. We're adding 2 days of work to each person. So officers, clerks, everybody else. So those 2 days actually add up to quite a bit of money. So that's why you're seeing some of the raises come out above 2.49%. Uniform police, I'll go down each one. We have 1 inspector, 3 commanders that were budgeted for, 3 sergeants, 6 detectives, 21 grade A patrolmen, 2 grade B patrolmen, and right now no probationary officers for a total of 36. We have shift differential, adding 2.49% to that. You'll see the number on the right is $33,000. And high classification, if somebody works in an officer in charge capacity, they get paid at a sergeant's rate, so their rate of pay is higher. So your total there is 3.26 or 3.27 million over for next year. Does anybody have any questions with that? Okay. Going on to the supernumeraries, we kept this steady at $20,000. Because we're at full staff right now, supernumerary use has been low. We haven't had to call part-timers in to cover shifts, or there hasn't been that much shifts for them to work. So their use is low. We're seeing that number 20,000 hold for the last few years, with little, if any, overage there. Crossing guards. So new this year, we've eliminated the parking attendant position. He retired. We haven't replaced him as of yet. We're still coming up with a way to address the downtown parking, but that's for a whole nother meeting. The crossing guards, we have three crossing guards for that rate there, and then you'll see it's $32,000. BOPC, that was removed. That was put to the first selectman's budget. So overtime. This is always an item of contention, and how much we should be budgeting, how much we should be, spending. So I'll tell you this, right now we're full-time. We're full-staffed. I left it at 125,000. If you recall, last year it was 150,000. It was cut by 50,000 or $25,000. The reason it's at 125,000 is we're fully staffing the uniform line. If we get through next year and we say, hey, we have an injury or someone out in workman's comp, we always left one out. This year we staffed it fully. Any overages with overtime will be covered by the uniform salary. To note though, we do take overtime seriously in trying to cut it. And last year, this year from July 1st to the present day, we have 3,413 hours of overtime. That's for total. That's call-ins, fill shifts, court appearances, things of that nature. Last year, July 1st to the same time frame, the number was 4,569 hours. So we've cut by 1,156 hours. Plus, with the addition of comp time, officers have taken 820 hours of comp times an average overtime rate of $65.95 an hour. That's $54,000 that's not hitting the overtime line. So we're doing okay there. All right, going to the next one, longevity. This is a contractual obligation that we're going to see increase over the next few years, just because people have been there longer. So our contract calls for specific amounts to be paid by officers who have served with us for a certain amount of years. So, for instance, anybody from 8 to 12 years gets 1.85%, 12 and over is 2.1%, 17 and over is 2.6%, and anybody over 25 gets 3.1% of their salary. So as time, now this is going to come to an end because this was negotiated as part of the contract. They have to be certified officers Seymour officers before the 15th. I'm sorry, 2015. So anybody hired after that is not eligible for longevity. So you're going to see this cost for over the next few years go up and then sharply drop off as retirements occur. So you're not going to see this number, although high now, in the next years coming up will start to decrease as people retire. For instance, we have somebody with 26 years on here, possibly, and a few with 25 who may be retiring in the next few years. So we'll see that start to leave. Any questions on longevity? Survivor benefits, that was taken out of our budget. Purchase technical services. So you'll see I have itemized each cost in there. The South Central Criminal Justice, of which we are a member of, their annual membership and radio usage fee is $12,600. Our physical agility benefit, which is contractual, is $3,300. We have an employee assistance program for $1,650. Although we're at full staff, we do anticipate retirements coming up. So we have polygraph testing, drug screening, and behavioral health assessments coming up. All of those add up. We kept those in the budget in case we have to test and hire for new officers. The psychological for the police accountability, we have to do 8% or 8 officers. That's 20% of our department per year. They cost about $275 per assessment. That's mandated by the Police Accountability Act. And we've been doing them in July. As soon as the fiscal year rolls around, we do our assessments in July. Training, schooling, and seminars. As you know, training is very important to us. It is mandated that we get a certain amount of hours every 3 years to keep up our certification. Going through the spreadsheet, we have 38 officers. Firearms training, we added some to that next year because we are transitioning to new weapons. That's coming in April. The more practice we get on those, the better. Also with rifle, we found as we shot this year, we needed some work on rifle skills with officers, so we're going to give them additional rifle training. Again, same thing with the supernumerary officers. Regular training hours, we were able to reduce these somewhat because we take online classes, and we try to have officers do online training during their shifts if it's slow to reduce the cost of physically going to a class and then replacing that officer on overtime. College degrees, those are called for contractually. We have canine costs, technical training, which is taser cartridges, recruit training. The state usually charges us $4,000 per recruit. I left one in there. We may not use it next year, but it's a possibility that we will if we have a retirement and we opt to hire an entry level person. And also, our training overtime comes out of this account. Repairs and maintenance. I just did a modest increase. I left it at $51,000. Obviously our mechanic rates have gone up. Cost to fix things have gone up. We are repairing our cars more than replacing them. This line, plus the building's getting old, so we need to, have some repairs for the building as well. Other purchase services. This is where our subscriptions come in, and this is just pretty much the cost of doing business. Copy machines, pest control. We could eliminate, actually, and I'll do that, I'll revise this to eliminate the 2020 Solutions call recorder because we just got a new one in the other day, so I'll cut $2,400 from that.
Say that again. One that you're going to cut, say that again.
It's the 2020 Solutions call recorder. It's the third line down.
Yep.
We just got a new one in, so we don't need that, so I'll zero that out. That'll bring it down to $62,832. Pitney Bowes for our mail. You'll see the next big expense down there, skipping over a couple, is Power DMS. That's our online accreditation and certification. That's important for our policies. That's how we achieved our Tier 1 accreditation this year. The elevator, HVAC systems, the elevator certification, those are all needed. Electronics or fire alarms, our GPS trackers are needed. We have some pole-mounted license plate readers. We have to pay a subscription on those. The IDEMIA system, that's our fingerprint system. We have to connect to the state for that. So this is just the cost of what it takes to operate. Travel and vehicle allowance, I left it at $500. We don't really find ourselves using it that much, but in a case like we had with our cybersecurity case where we had to travel to Maryland to arrest a guy, we had to put our guys up in a hotel the night before, coordinate with Maryland, and we had to do that.
Give you more if you can get it back.
Let's see. General supplies. Again, just things that we need to kind of run our business. Missions, radar laser certification. We have to pay our officers when they take meals at training. That's a contractual item. Any professional dues or fees. Testing and promotional exams. We do anticipate having some of those this year. Petty cash, prisoner meals, and then we have general supplies that we need around the office. Files, folders, things of that nature. Printing toning cartridges, and the law enforcement handbook and field manuals. We buy each officer one of those, so they have the up-to-date laws. Canine supplies for food, I left that the same. Clothing allowance, this is a contractual item. You'll see that the officers are entitled to a certain amount per contract to replace any defects in their uniform. We are also liable to replace anything damaged in the line of duty, which is why you see the last line of $1,950 in case somebody rips a uniform, damages a piece of their holster or firearm or something during training or apprehending somebody, we replace that. Gasoline, just doing an average from the last year, we were able to drop the price seems to be coming down. So I dropped it, accordingly. I dropped our projection accordingly. Our consumption seems to remain consistent with how much we use. We use yearly almost 28,000 gallons. The price, varies, but we seem steady in that regards as far as consumption. Machinery, flares, radio repairs. We're going to need to buy some portable radios at some point. Some things that we have are getting old, and it's getting less cost effective to send them out and get fixed rather than to get new ones. We're going to have one vehicle that we're going to need to be lettered. I took the cameras out because the town is switching to a new camera system. We have radar purchase and calibration, investigation unit supplies. We go through a lot up in our detective bureau and our intoximeter. That's for our DUIs. Vehicle maintenance, we have some tires, overhead lights and accessories. So we actually, let me fast forward to, we're going to purchase one pickup truck this year we plan on I'm asking for one vehicle in this budget. It's going to be a pickup truck. We had to order it already. So, in order for it to be, on time or close to on time. We're going to buy a Chevy Silverado pickup truck. That's going to replace the pickup truck that we have. We currently have a, 2010? 2010 Ford F-250, which really sits in the lot and does road jobs. And the bottom's rusted out. By replacing that with a patrol-rated pickup, we're going to add a vehicle into the fleet, which is going to correspondingly reduce mileage on all the other cars. So we're hoping to get the rest of the cars to last longer by introducing another vehicle in the fleet and taking one that's just basically sitting collecting dust on the lot, and we still maintain having a pickup truck functionality. So, and on top of it, we had purchased equipment to outfit a Tahoe, but we couldn't find a Tahoe. So we have all of the equipment that we paid for out of this year's budget to outfit that vehicle next year when we get it. So I was able to drop this line down by a significant amount. Body worn cameras. This is our yearly fee for body worn cameras. As you can see, I'm wearing one. We're all required to wear one by law if we're in uniform. This is mandated by the Accountability Act. This is our storage fees for any videos that we take, and they add up to quite a bit. And body worn replacement. As any technology, things break. These aren't really, they're cameras, they're delicate electronic equipments, and sometimes we don't operate in the best of environments. We find ourselves having to replace the batteries, the cameras themselves, or anything else. I know I kind of went fast, but that's it. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down the line, and everybody up here will have an opportunity to ask questions. So we'll start on the left with Lucy. Do you have any questions for Chief Bucciarati?
Not really. I kind of understand most of the things that he's asking for, and, I think he's done a very good job making his presentation. I'm aware of quite a bit of what you're talking about, so I can understand, the needs for many of the things here.
All righty. Jim?
No questions for the chief.
Bev?
I just had one question on the pickup truck. What do you actually use that for?
So that comes in handy for like parades, where we have to transport a lot of cones, any incident where we would need like traffic barricades, things that we have to transport of that nature. It adds, it's quite a
Okay.
few things.
No, I was just curious what you would use it for.
And a lot of times right now, it's just for traffic diversion. We use it for.
Okay.
Good. Betty Ann?
I do have a couple of questions, and thank you very much. It was concise. It was easy to understand. Bit of transparency where, when you got down into the general supplies, you were doing it throughout the report. Is it possible to see that list where you had the Kevlar and the other things listed? Is that,
Under general
Privacy.
supplies?
well, with any of these, because you had a lot of stuff under the lines,
Mhm.
which it covered, which we heard and we knew and we understood.
Yep.
Would it help if it,
I could get, I mean, I could
Was-
get what we spend usually. Sometimes it varies on
Yes.
what we need, you know?
Sure.
So it could be office supplies one day, it could be print cartridges the next day.
yes,
I try to stay, you know, I always stay within budget, and anything comes before me, I always have to approve it, you know? So, but I could work on getting a list of, and break it down even further,
yeah, just,
of what I
just
could
a
do.
possibility?
Yeah.
It's, and I'm asking it through the chair, of course, but it could help people out when you have that argument that, oh, they're paying for this. Well, it's under here, but I don't see it on that
Sure.
list.
Um,
Thank you.
So I think maybe just giving us a printout of what you were discussing from whatever you're looking at on your computer with those numbers.
Yeah, it's all, so it would be, whatever I have is on the spreadsheet there.
Okay, so it's all up
It's
on
all-
the
yeah,
screens
what
and
I did
everything.
was, if you go, just say, Rob, can you
Well,
switch?
that's what we have. That's the same as what we have.
You have that, all that
This,
information?
No,
well,
we
this
don't have
sheet,
this.
no, there's
No.
multiple pages
There's
up there.
multiple pages
Right,
on it, and I
right.
kind of
Yes, there
broke
is.
down each one.
Yeah,
Just that same one, a copy.
I
Yeah,
think,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
each one-
you
yeah.
zip that whole thing off for us and we'll be good.
Which tab? You got the tabs at the bottom.
Hold on, let me see. It
That's what I was
is,
missing, because I was looking at this more than up there.
actually, go to
Yep,
Parks
she's
Technical
trying to
Services,
write it down real
340.
quick.
We were all writing. We were not looking at that section. But thank you, it was nice and
Purchase tech,
concise.
right there, yeah. So if you see, I did put it all in there.
Okay,
So everything that, everything is itemized in there, what they are and what they're, you know, what they're
Perfect.
for. And then I add them all up at the bottom.
okay, so that's the one thing we didn't have in our
Okay,
package.
Our
I can
yeah.
Okay,
give you the copy
yeah,
of the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
that would
that
be
would be
excellent
good.
if you could just print that out for us. We have it in our records and
And you maybe asked
we don't have to
It's gonna be the same
scroll
version.
through all this chicken scratch that we were writing.
No,
Yeah.
everything's there, so.
Excellent. All
That
right,
would be part of our next package from Jason.
correct. Anything else? Betty?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Kristen,
I'm good.
Carol.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right. I don't have any questions at this time. I think you covered pretty much everything. But if we do have any questions that we come up with during our deliberations, we will definitely call you back to explain it, or Jason will send you an email asking specific questions that we're looking for during deliberations.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time tonight.
You're welcome.
Good. It's good to see everybody.
Is there anybody else from the police department that you would like to speak?
I won't do that tonight.
You're not going to do that to them? All right, very good. All right. So everybody had their opportunity to ask some questions up here, and if we come up with anything, we'll relay that to Jason, and he can get that over to Chief Bucharati. So with that, we'll move on to item number 5, which is our second public comment and discussion. So is there any public comment in regards to what we just heard? Any public comment going twice? No takers. Public comment going 3 times. All right, public comment is closed. So before we move to item number 6 to adjourn, I just want to draw everybody's attention to the revised presentation schedule that we received here. So if you take note, Wednesday, February 7th, we are off. And we won't be meeting again until Monday, February 12th, which we are scheduled to hear from Public Works, Parks, and Town Buildings. Is everybody good with that change?
Yes.
That's up here. Okay, and of course, this is a living, breathing document. So throughout, you know, if like one of the department heads are sick or something like that, this might change around. So definitely keep an eye on your emails and everything, because we will send out communication in that event. Okay? Anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss? Any new business? Well, all right. Well, that brings us to item number 6. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing and budget meeting.
Motion for Betty Ann Peck to adjourn. Second.
And
Chris.
second by Kristen. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Anybody oppose? Anybody abstain? Chair votes aye, motion carries. Thank you all very much for coming. Chief Bugarati and everybody from the police department and the Board of Police Commissioners, thank you for coming as well.
It was nice to see you.
I'll see everybody on Monday, February 12th.